We're coming to the close on the chapter on blogging for healthcare, and I want to go over some of the basics that we've just recapped and talked about in previous videos. We have only really scratched the surface when it comes to blogging platforms and how to do it. The general idea is the same no matter what platform you're using. Whether you're using Medium and you're tying it to your Twitter account that way, or you're using something very involved and very robust like WordPress. It really doesn't matter what platform that you're using, as long as you're creating the message and the content that is that's what you want to share with people. So platform is one thing, but really you have to think more about what you want to share, how you want to write it, and how often do you want to contribute to your blog. So what we talked about was what blogging is, what it is, how it works, the general idea of blogging and how it's meant to connect with people in long form discussion, and something that is kind of more of a lost art now. You want to create long form discussions to generate ideas, whereas a lot of other social networks are very short, very quick information being digested very easily. Blog posts take a while to take them in, but the rewards from that are greater because you can be cited and as an authority on your topics. So we talked about the different platforms. I showed you two platforms. I showed you Medium and I showed you WordPress.com. Medium, super easy to use. WordPress, very involved and very robust, but can offer a great deal of interaction for your readers. I showed you how to create posts on the different platforms, and that's basically what every platform is supposed to do, is allow you to create posts so that you can share out with your readers. And then the last part here, blog examples. I showed you the blogs.aafp.org, I showed you drmikesevilla.com, and I showed you mattreport.com. And these are great examples of how different blogs are set up. With the AAFP, you have professional blogs set up talking about healthcare, and the great examples of how to talk about healthcare in a professional standpoint. Mike Sevilla is also a family physician who is using a blog to talk about issues in healthcare. He's also got some of his own personal posts as well, which is a great way, a great hybrid of how they both can work together. And then I showed you mattreport.com, which is from a completely different industry, but you can see how that he's using WordPress to set up and talk about things that are interesting about WordPress, entrepreneurial stuff, design, and development. So three very different examples, but three great examples to take a look at and get a feel for how people are writing, how the blogs are set up, and how people are interacting with them. So you'd see various use of commenting and interaction between all three platforms. And then all three of them included shares to other social media sites. So the idea with blogging is that you're going to connect your blog to other social media sites to provide content to them. So we talked about the basics. So we went over some of the cursory information on how to use different blog platforms. But let's talk about the rewards. Why do you want to blog? What are you going to get out of it as a physician? So connecting and sharing with colleagues with long-form written posts that talk about topics, trends, and ideas can help progress healthcare. At the end of the day, if you're going to be blogging as a healthcare professional and talking about issues in healthcare, you want to help progress healthcare. You don't want to detract from it. Now, there are a lot of things that are going on in healthcare right now that is it's not very popular, and they do need to be criticized. But criticism is not just about a lot of people think that criticism is about talking very badly about something that can be considered dumb or not useful at all. Criticism can be very constructive and actually can help drive home points. A good example, and I'm going to go there, is that people are very critical of the Affordable Care Act, and it does not matter. We have no standpoint on it. You're just going to talk about how people are talking about this online right now. And there are many posts on different blogs, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, that are for the Affordable Care Act and that are against the Affordable Care Act. So the better of the blogs, the better of the posts of blogs are criticizing the Affordable Care Act and talking about how things can be done better. But then there's also those posts that are criticizing the Affordable Care Act and they are not helping to progress anything. So you have to think about what you're writing about and what your entire goal for blogging is. Do you want to start talking about something to progress things on a more positive direction? Primary care is something that is very near and dear to all of us, and I've seen many great examples of different physicians' blogs that are talking about the importance of primary care and how different things that are happening with legislation and in communities about how primary care is utilized, seen, and what their opinions are on primary care. So the idea that blogging can help push ideas and trends more in a progressive light, that's something to really think about. How is your audience going to view and what their takeaways are from your post? So you have a lot of power as a blogger. You can share your thoughts and ideas and help change minds, help change opinions about things so that you're actually moving conversation in a more positive direction. Another good example of negative negative comments and negative posts are movie reviews. We've all seen movie reviews where a supposed critic or an actual critic is reviewing a movie and they lambast the movie. They say it's the worst thing that they've ever seen. And you'll look at that and you'll see a lot of comments, and you're seeing how that their writing is actually encouraging people to comment. People are going to be strongly opposing that blog post or strongly agreeing with that blog post. And that's set up by design. That is set up so that they're encouraging comments and have people talk amongst themselves. Now, depending on how you're posting, you may or may not have a lot of people commenting on your blog posts. Because if it's something that is positive and something that is that people can agree on and think about, like, this makes a lot of sense, they may post and share their thoughts and ideas with you, or they may quietly sit back and just say, yep, that's great, I agree with that, and then they won't comment on it. So if you're doing a really good job at blogging, you may not have tons of comments, but there are ways to write that elicit comments, and they can be for good or for ill. So dealing with negative feedback is some of the greater risks. Putting yourself out there as a physician with an opinion and talking about issues, it's a dangerous door to open because it opens you up to a lot of criticism and a lot of different views that you just don't want to deal with a headache with. So the rewards, though, can really overcome and overshadow the risks that are part of it. So as you blog, you're considered and you're viewed as a media resource, and that can lead to opportunities to share your thoughts and ideas to news media outlets, industry professionals, advocacy groups, and the public in general. The more that you blog and the more successful you are with keeping up with your schedule and also being consistent with your posts, people will view you as an authority on the topics that you talked about. And that's extremely important because consistency is going to lend to credibility. The more you do it and the more that you're posting, the more that people are going to view you as, this person knows what they're talking about, and I want to get in contact with them because they have the knowledge to help me in my situation. So you'll see that a lot with news, local news, regional news, and national news will reach out to physicians to talk about issues that are going on in healthcare because they read their blog. Other industry professionals will reach out to you from different types of provider groups, hospital settings, insurance companies, anything that's in the whole entire field of healthcare could read your blog and contact you about various topics. Different groups, for example, we read a lot of blogs here at PAFP, and we like to read about different patient blogs and different physicians' blogs, talk about primary care, and we reach out to people when we see something that's really good that actually helps progress conversations in positive directions. And then the public in general, and the public can praise you, and the public can be the mob. Very much like how the whole ancient Roman sense. The public can read your blog and take it for what it's worth. They may not completely understand everything, or they have their own opinions, and you'll get the gamut of comments from the public. But it's meant for everyone to take a look at, and the more that you publicize your blog and share it out to your social networks, the more readers you'll have. the greater the risks, but also the greater the rewards. So while the risks are greater, having a solid plan of what you will blog about and having a schedule minimizes those risks. So consistency is credibility. The more consistent you are with your posts and your blogging, the more credibility that you build up. So if you are constantly writing about healthcare issues of one certain topic, and people are going to see you as an expert in that topic. So having a schedule of how often you post and when people can expect to see new posts from you, that lends to your credibility as an expert. So this is all well and good, and you can start seeing how blogging can be used as a professional tool for physicians. And let's take a look at blogging in healthcare. And blogging has become a staple part of healthcare, from physicians to patients, hospitals to insurance companies, consultants to practices. And blogging allows readers to see who you are as a professional and invites them to take part in your discussions. Blogging tied to other social networking platforms is an easy way to provide content to those platforms and drives traffic to learn more about you. As always, think like a publisher and speak like a friend. That's very succinctly what blogging can do, is get people to read your information from other social networks, see you as the person, see you as a physician, see you as someone who has an opinion and is helping to change mindsets for a positive. So blogging has a lot of rewards in that respect. Is it the most involved out of all the social networks? Absolutely. It takes up a considerable amount of time, but if you're doing it and you're getting it and you're feeling that it is something that is positive, it can make a tremendous impact on your professional life. A lot of sites actually have blogs set up on professional websites as well, so you can consider having a blog as part of your practice website, and you can use that as a forum to talk about different health issues that are going on in your community. So just like I had said in previous videos with Facebook and LinkedIn, maybe you're going to create a blog as a physician, and you have a small practice in a rural area, and you're a big part of your community. You might want to create a blog as a professional blog for your practice and talk about things that you are doing in your community, things that affect the public in general. That's one mode that you can do. Maybe you are a primary care physician and you do direct primary care work. So it's just you have no brick and mortar building, and you have certain patients, certain patient pool that you work with. And that's very different from how other practices are set up. So maybe you're going to blog in that respect for your patients' information. Well, not patients' information. You'll be blogging about things that are important to your patients, things that they know about, and things that are happening in their area. So again, it's kind of like the practice blog, but it's a little bit more focused on things that maybe your patients bring up to you. So maybe you're talking about things that are happening with diabetes and different pharmaceutical information that you'll see happening, and maybe your patients give you the idea, oh yeah, I read about this, and then you look into it more and you just blog about it. So there's it's a little bit more nebulous, but it can be done very well. Maybe you're a physician, you're part of a hospital system, and your hospital system has a very robust website. Well, maybe there is a family medicine department, or there's a section on the website to allow physicians to blog, and you want to talk with your marketing and HR people to see what kind of blogs are set up and what kind of setups they have for different types of posts, because they might have an entire plan for physicians who want to blog. So maybe your hospital doesn't have that at all, and maybe you just want to create a blog as a physician on your own and just say that you're tied to this hospital, and people can find you there. And then maybe you are an educator, and you're going to be talking about issues that are facing medical school and residency, and you want to talk about things there that can be a resource for students and residents. So as you can see, I gave you 4 different examples, and there are even thousands more ideas that you can take to blog for healthcare, and everything that you can be doing is going to be something that can drive positive direction for progressing healthcare in general. So that's it for blogging. Again, we talked about a lot, but we barely scratched the surface on certain platforms. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me. It's tmckenna@pafp.com. You can find me on Twitter. It's PAFP and F. And then you can also connect with me on Facebook and on LinkedIn. You can just easily look up my name. And you can also just find us on the pafp.com and then email me directly from there.